This is a Bulldog Radio podcast.
The Ferris State Bulldogs have upset the nation's #2 ranked team. Wide open! Taylor is going to take this one to the house! Touchdown Bulldogs!
It's the MVSP Season 4, Episode 11. My name is Joseph Nagy, along with Brandon Worth, my co-host. It's a beautiful day in Big Rapids. It's getting sunny. It's getting nice. But, Brandon, I'll tell you what was not beautiful. I spent $80 at the pump today.
Ooh.
$80.
That's a big oofda right there.
There was a bridge past I was tempted.
What? No, Joe. No.
I was spending $80 at the pump.
Bad.
I'm getting siphoned. I'm siphoned out of this business.
Did you go across the river?
Yeah, I did. That was the cheapest place I could find.
Wow.
Dude, it hit 60 and I was like, okay, let's stop. And then it hit 70 and I was like, no. And then it hit it. That's the first time in my life that I've ever seen just $80 on the pump for regular non-diesel gas. That was insane.
That's rough. That is rough.
I hated it.
But
I hated every minute of it.
We're going to bring your spirits up, Joe. You know why? Because
we got a killer episode today.
Absolutely we do. Interview with Brandon Childress, Ferris State football. You're going to love that. That's going to be right next, so stay tuned for that as well. Full Ferris State sports preview for the weekend, and me and Joe got a score to settle. It's 2-2 in our NFL predictions week, so buckle up.
It's going down today.
Is it?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But without further ado,
let's swing it to the interview.
Now joined in studio of Ferris State football, Brandon Childress is here with us. Brandon, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Brandon, thanks for coming on. First question for you. Team traveled to Ohio for longtime opponent Findlay last week. Great game on both sides of the ball. What are your thoughts, especially seeing, it was a great all-around game from both the offense and the defense?
Like you said, I just thought it was a great game from both sides of the ball. Special teams, we've been playing well on that all 4 games, I think, special teams-wise. So it was just good to see our defense have another shutout game. Offense start getting it flowing real well together. We got the passing game going a little bit, got a lot of guys touches last weekend. So just seeing that, and then our quarterbacks playing the way they're playing, it's been really good.
Yeah, for sure. And especially, the offense have really been kind of having a really big play right at the beginning of the game. And the big trick play at that start, you ended up being on the receiving end of that. What was that like kind of in the huddle to be able to hear that call? Is there any difference when it's a trick play to kind of get ready for the play?
For that play in particular, I know for my job on that play, I have to be real patient, and it's kind of reaction off the defense. If the defense doesn't react the way that we want them to react, then the trick play is pretty much over with. Yeah. So they bit on the bubble, and we got the fake off, and it was pretty good, executed well.
Yeah, your guys' offense has been phenomenal. 458 yards of offense against Findlay, and especially for your guys' scheme, especially with Coach Anish, you guys like to run the football, but so many playmakers on the outside with you guys and CJ and Xavier and all those guys, Marcus as well. Just talk about the relationship you guys have in the wide receiver room, and not only doing a great job at being on the reception end like your skill position says, but also you guys are great blockers too.
Yeah, I think just to hit on the relationship, man. The receivers are all really close. Me, X, Reese, CJ, me and Marcus are super close. Just thinking of those guys, man, it's hard to say we're not brothers, and we all carry that energy for each other. And then as far as just making plays, man, we all have that playmaking mindset. Like, we all were the guys at our high school. We made plays in both football and basketball. A lot of us did. So it's just natural for us to just want to go get the ball and have the balls in our hand. So, just keeping that rolling is going to be big for us. Getting all those guys the ball is going to be really big for us moving forward.
Yeah, especially speaking about those relationships, being a transfer from CMU, what was that kind of like when you first came here? Was building those relationships a little bit difficult? Was it, come easy for you? What was that like?
Honestly, it was pretty easy. So just to hit on why Marcus and I became really close, it was one of my first spring practices with the guys. We were it wasn't actually a spring practice, it was more so winter conditioning. We were in the gym at the rec working out with TA and stuff, and a lot of guys were just walking around in between drills, and Marcus comes up to me and goes, "Can we jog every in between everything and get to everything jogging?" I'm like, "Yeah." And for me, that was like, okay, this dude is serious about his craft. And me coming from Central, and I was being taught to be serious about your craft every day and everything you do, I hit off with Marcus right away. Like, yeah, let me keep myself around this dude, because he knows what it takes to get to where he wants to be and what it takes to be a great player for the team. So it was cool. And then just from there, it just kind of was natural to hang out with guys, man. Guys, being a new guy, they really want to bring you in here, whereas a lot of places they probably don't. It's this is competition, where X and Reese didn't take it like that. They were like, oh, this is be chill. Come on, man. get along with the guys and learn what we do. And it was a natural thing, man. It came easy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we've heard so much about the brotherhood. And really, speaking of that, also having your brother come to the program after some years at CMU, and also I think it was Northern Kentucky, was it?
Kentucky State.
Kentucky State, that's right. Yeah, so Braden coming back to the program. What has it been like to have you guys together and both on the same team again?
Oh, man, it's awesome. So at Central, we obviously thought it was going to work out and it was going to be the sunshine. I was going to, graduate and we were going to play together at Central together. But, God had different plans for us. We both got to go see other places. I spent some time out in Hawaii when I spent that time away from football. And then Braden went down to Kentucky State, got a HBCU experience, and then we both got to come home. And God's timing is perfect. Our father's going through some stuff personally right now. So having Braden back home to be there and help me with my pops has been big time for me. So I don't know, man. It's been awesome having my little brother here. And then just for like last night, for instance, he's headed to the weight room, and I'm thinking, well, I was gonna chill tonight, but little bro's going to the weight room, so I got to go with him. So,
it's that competition, bro.
Always.
That competition. That's really cool. And speaking of CMU, seeing the differences between Division I football and high class Division II football, besides facilities and stuff like that, what's been like the biggest difference for you in being able to kind of go from both levels?
I would say the biggest difference, and this is a positive as far as for Ferris. I just think here, where at Central, it's kind of a business atmosphere, especially with the coaching staff. You get coaches that kind of come in and out of there. Whereas here, these coaches have been here for a long time. They've been together as a staff for a long time. I know Coach Hodges played for TA and ended up coaching with them in high school. So it's kind of more of a family atmosphere here, and it makes it easier as a player to be able to go to your coaches, open up to them about things that you necessarily wouldn't open up to a Division I coach about.
For sure.
Yeah, and you guys certainly have had a super relationship, and I mean, especially when you just mentioned all the other things around being on the football field, but especially like the cap opening up. I know you're one of the proponents that the guys were talking to about that, and I just talk about having that ability now to have a really, really upgraded facility for you guys to lift in, and especially just getting really out of the dungeon in the basement, as we used to say.
Man, it's just such a beautiful thing to see, just for the program, just to see guys that have been here when it was the dungeon room and guys were lifting in horrible conditions, and now I know last summer when they were doing the new construction, we were still smelling like some of the fumes and stuff. So like to go from that and to be into a facility where it's beautiful as heck, a lot beautiful than a lot of Division I facilities that I've been in, it's just a blessing, man. I moved out of Central right before they got their new stuff, so to be here for a program that's getting new stuff is it's an awesome feeling. So
yeah, it's really cool. And speaking in Central again, what's been like your favorite memory of D1 football?
I would just say the places that I got to travel to. So
sure.
I got to play at Syracuse, got to play at Michigan State, was with the team. I was a redshirt at the time, but was with the team when we beat Oklahoma State. So I got to be on the field and
awesome.
experience all that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I would say just most so of just who we got to play and some of the teams I got to play against.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple big teams are playing against this upcoming week, playing against a ranked Saginaw team. And then, of course, the one we're all waiting for, Anchor Bone, the following week. Just talk about your guys' preparation going in those 2 weeks and really looking forward to these big rivalry games.
Just switching out of GLIAC play, coaches focused our mindset of just understanding, GLIAC play is a little bit different than non-conference play, even with the referees. So just our preparation has been more so tied to just being a little bit more focused than what we have been the last 4 weeks and finding any little way that we can get ourselves better and more prepared for the next couple weeks.
For sure. And against Waldorf, you had a really crazy catch with Moss and the guy in the back of the end zone. That was such a cool thing to see. And especially, you have such talent with making those crazy catches, and you probably have a lot more that you've been able to have over your careers. Is that kind of one of the top ones? Have you had more that have topped that? What's your favorite catch that you've ever had?
Yeah, that's definitely up there, man. I had a sweet catch my redshirt freshman year in like one of my first actual games that I got to play in down in Virginia. I caught a one-hand catch in between a safety and a linebacker. That was pretty sweet, but that catch was definitely up there for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's for sure watching all those highlights of those plays over and over, and especially like the really cool highlight films we've got to see. Shout out to Will, who's made a lot of those things.
Yes,
and we've certainly seen you guys as well as Marcus always on camera talking about how great the team's going, and especially with the fans getting involved too. Just talk about their involvement and just really the whole vibe of this season starting off so well. Okay,
so I can answer this question and answer another question too. So this is another thing that I've enjoyed about being here at Ferris is the fan. I think our fan base is like real loyal. Last year, I remember after the Shepherd game, we're up deep in the fourth quarter. I looked back and was like, dang, all these people are still here. Yeah. Like, it's cold as heck out here. I would have been left. So I just think our fan base is loyal as heck, man. A lot of them know a lot about us players. Like, you'll be walking through the Bulldog walk and somebody will stop you. You've never talked to me. What's up, Brandon? And you'll be like, whoa, I didn't know you even knew my name, but what's up to you too? So I don't know. And just the athletes, the other athletes show up and show their love too. You look down there and you see all the different sport teams down there. So it's a big family atmosphere here, and I just enjoy that.
Yeah, and with Will's videos, he's gotten some pretty cool moments, especially Xavier throwing up the X after the touchdown, CJ, running through the end zone with the windmills of his arms. Have you gotten a signature celebration cooking up, or are you kind of more off the top when you get a big play?
It's more so off the top, man. Just a reaction thing. I try to act like I've been there, but sometimes that's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, after a Moss, you gotta celebrate a
for sure.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
got to have energy. But Brandon, we appreciate the time, man. One more question for you. We like to ask every athlete on the show. What's been your favorite thing about coming back to Ferris and being a Bulldog?
Oh, shoot, man. I just think I got to stick with what I've been saying, man, the family atmosphere. I'm a big family guy. I'm from a small town, Baldwin. There's probably 1,500 people in the whole town. So I grew up in a place where everybody knew everything about everybody. So I'm more so, like, easy to get along with when I'm in an environment like this. Not that I'm not in other environments, but this is an environment that I thrive in. So just being here at Ferris, man, and the atmosphere of the sports program and you guys doing this show is just awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Brandon, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully you guys do well against Saginaw Valley. Going to be a good game. Can't wait to watch it, and good luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
And we're back from our interview. Huge thanks to Brandon Childress for coming on the show. A lot of busy things going on, especially with football taking on Saginaw Valley this weekend. It's going to be a sick one, and I cannot wait to be able to live tweet that and see what goes on. But, Brandon, let's hop into the Ferris State Sports Report. We'll start off with football. Saginaw Valley, man, it's going to be a tough one. They're coming off a tough loss against Grand Valley in the Battle of the Valleys. I think it was 22-7. They were in the lead for a little bit of that. I think we talked about that Tuesday. But, dude, they're going to come with a vengeance. We're going to be traveling to Saginaw. It's going to be a good one, Brandon.
It's going to be a good one. I mean, despite the loss, Saginaw Valley played a really good first half.
Pretty darn good.
Second half wasn't as good, and they kind of fell asleep there. But, I mean, it was still a pretty solid game. I got to see parts of it. And according to the rankings right now, Saginaw is still in the ranking as a top 25 team, and they deserve to be. They've been a pretty good team all year. Last year, if you all remember, I hate to bring it up, but they did give us fits. But now we're going to their place.
Pretty darn near upset.
Yeah, it was a close one. We didn't play our best football, so I know the guys are really excited to be able to play good football against this Cardinal team, especially to get through next week, because you know what time that's going to be.
It's going to be the big one.
Oh, boy, that's one we're going to be full preview on next week on both shows, so we'll get to that as well. But, I mean, it is their band day, according to the website. It's kind of cool. Kind of like they're unique. They're treating this like it's a pretty significant game, and I think our boys want that. I think they do. And, I mean, you look back at what we've done throughout this season against some of these good teams, like Central Washington has always been in the playoff hunt the last 4 years. Lenore-Ryan was a playoff team, a top 17 team or 14 team when we played them earlier this year. And then obviously Waldorf, an NAIA powerhouse. And then, of course, our rival Findlay. So we've filled it up with good teams all season long. We haven't really, I mean, Waldorf was a little bit of a cakewalk, Findlay a little bit too, but we are battle tested. We went to North Carolina to take on Lenore-Ryan, and we beat them there with our defense. I'm really confident that our defense is going to do some damage, and I mean, that film's going to be very valuable because Grand Valley exploited Saginaw Valley in the second half of them offensively, and they forced some turnovers. So you saw a lot of their weaknesses, and I think we can capitalize on those. And I mean, if our defense shows up, man, it's gonna be hard for them to move the football. That's really something that has helped propel them to success so far. But I mean, this is gonna be a pretty good game. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than a lot of people do, and I think we're actually gonna see a really good football game this week.
And Saginaw Valley is a very pass-heavy offense. We saw that last year as well, and we have one of the best secondaries and pass rushes in all of D2. So we always say that it's kind of beating a dead horse, but you know, it's nice to be able to talk that up. So I'm very excited for this game. I think it's gonna be definitely, if the defense shows up, I think that's going to shut down a lot of Saginaw Valley's chances. They're going to have to probably revert to the run a little bit that they're not going to want to do, and kind of really pull some tricks out of their sleeve that I think is probably not going to bode well for them. There's talks that Malik might be back for this week, but they might be saving him for Anchorbone. Either way, I think we're going to be in good hands with Carson playing really well these past couple weeks, and Evan starting pretty good as well. So we have the quarterbacks, we have the abilities, and we have the defense to make some noise, but it's just we're going to go in there. Hostile environment. SVSU's fan fan base is starting to really, really get ramped up these past few years, especially with the more success that they've seen. But it's going to be a good one. Another top 25 matchup. We've already played one against Lenore Ryan, who had a good offense, held them to 5 points, and less than 100 total yards rushing. And they did the same thing to Findlay in the first 3 quarters. They were only at like 75, and then when we kind of tossed in our third, fourth strings, all the guys that traveled, I think Kai was saying, or Kai Service, our good buddy who was on the show before, he was saying everybody that traveled played the game.
Yeah.
So when you are able to have that, I think that's the big thing. And I mean, Findlay really only had much noise in the fourth quarter when we had our third and fourth string defense out there. So, when we got our ones and twos out, we're basically unstoppable. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm very interested to see what we do offensively, especially what we saw in that Grand Valley game. You saw a lot of different things that Saginaw threw their way, I should say. And I think definitely, one of their strengths this year has been running the football. In games that the first 4 games that they won, they had over 230 yards rushing, including 372 in the opener against West Virginia Wesleyan. But I think what you saw from Grand Valley is their front really brought a lot of pressure and really pushed that run game kind of out of the scheme book early on. And I think that's what flustered them a little bit. And Grand Valley has a pretty solid defense as well, and they like to control the tempo. So I think you will see probably a lot of different looks from Saginaw in this game. I'm sure they're going to try to run the football because that definitely is a strength of theirs. They will try to throw it occasionally. You're not going to see them throw it 50 times like a Shepherd team, for example. They'll throw it maybe 30 times, but you're still going to have a really good chances here with the secondary that we've had. We just got to make sure we can keep the football, right? Keep the tempo on the ground, make big plays through the air. That's what this team has been built on, and they really are so one-dimensional. We can do it in so many ways, and that's why we're the number 1 team in the nation. So I'm really looking forward to this matchup. I really wish I could be there to see it. I'll explain where I'll be here later on in the preview. But no, it's going to be a really good football game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely watch out for Saginaw, their wide receivers, Derek Hinton and Jarius Grissom. Those guys can really make some noise. Expect Sintel and Sydney to be on those guys. But they run kind of a tight end and a slot receiver rather than what we do, which is no tight end and basically 5 wide receivers. So it's going to be a little bit 2 different clashing offenses, and it's going to be exciting to see what both defenses can do. But definitely expect a really good game in Saginaw. We'll hear some stuff from around the GLIAC, who's playing who. As we said, Grand Valley's going to be taking on American International. I never heard of American International before. I knew they had a D1 hockey team, but I didn't know that they were D2 everything else. So that's going to be a good one. Yeah. I think it's at Lubbers, so we'll see with that one. Oof. Wayne State is going to be traveling to Michigan Tech for Michigan Tech's homecoming. Ooh. That one's going to be a good game at 1 o'clock. Davenport is going to be taking on Northern Michigan. Davenport is also, I think, an undefeated team in the GLIAC right now.
They're going
to be taking on the Wildcats at 1 o'clock. And like we said, Ferris State is going to be traveling to Saginaw at 2 o'clock for SVSU's Band Day. So that's what's going on around the GLIAC for the football action.
2 o'clock kickoff. It's going to be different, but it's going to be fun.
A little different.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You can follow along on Sunny 97.3 for all the action with Rob and Sandy, as well as follow on Twitter from my man Joe's fire tweets.
I cook up some tweets. Once again, I said this last week. Harrison, give me the green light, please.
Give me the green light. We still haven't heard a text back, by the way.
So still have not. So maybe he starts trying to get caught up with the episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
Give me the green light. I just want to go hard one time.
Oh, we would love to see that day when you do. But anyway, some other sports going on this weekend. Hockey is home, y'all. Home
opener. Gonna be a big one.
Pack the dog pound. Let's go. Michigan Tech will be coming to town, as well as Western. Tech on Friday, Western on Saturday. Both games 7 o'clock puck drop. And from last week, we saw a lot of good things from this team. I know we talked about it on Tuesday.
Saw some bad.
Yeah,
needed improvements that we needed to have. But I think we are showing a lot more potential than what we were last season. Of course, we were able to get one. We split last year with Miami in straight up, where we beat them in overtime rather than the shootout. But I think it's going to be good, especially with Michigan Tech. They don't have as many senior. They graduated a lot of guys. I'm not really sure. I didn't see how many guys they got from the transfer portal. But that's the same with Western Michigan. That's going to be coming in on Saturday. They graduated a lot of guys. I don't think they're as deep as they were last year with both of these teams, but we definitely know Michigan Tech can move the puck. They are a fluid team that really focuses on movement and really bringing in strength and numbers into the zone on the offensive push. So that's going to be one thing that we got to watch out for. But Logan's coming off a CCHA Goalie of the Week performance, so very much looking forward to that, seeing what he's able to do. And, I think our offense, if we really try to push and just kind of really stay on it and keep the foot on the pedal, foot on the gas pedal, I think we'll be doing pretty solid.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And Friday as well, they have a special introduction for President Pink as well. That'll be taking place.
Sick.
That one's cool. And also, Skate with the Dawgs is on Thursday. That is going to be tonight as we're recording. Sorry if you're listening tomorrow. You missed it.
So go back in time if you want to, I guess. But.
Yeah, use a time portal.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's going to be cool for sure as well. But yeah, it was going to be... it's going to be a super fun game. I mean, we saw a lot of good action last year against Michigan Tech. I think one of the games we went to overtime, if I remember correctly, back in February. So it's going to be a thriller. But, I mean, as you mentioned, Joe, I mean, this is a really good Michigan Tech team that's already received votes as a top 25 team. Western is in the top 25, I think ranked around 17 or 18. So you're going to see really good hockey being played by the opposition. So step our game up. We saw what we can do, and we saw that we can be very efficient scoring. We saw that in that Friday game. Saturday, we got very aggressive and almost a little bit too aggressive. So definitely we can see some very high potential, as Joe was mentioning, with this offense as well. And the defense looks a lot better, and really with Logan playing really well. It's going to really be a good game if we can control that momentum over, learn from the little things, keep pace, keep tempo, because when we had the puck set up in a lot of those 5-on-4 opportunities, we were really creating some good looks. Some of them just didn't find between the pipes. So I think there's going to be a lot of those situations coming up. I mean, it's going to be home hockey. Fans are going to be rocking, so y'all should be there. I'm going to try to be there on Saturday night to watch that Western game, but it's going to be super fun. So 7 o'clock puck drops for both. Looking forward to seeing all of these great players on the ice from both teams overall this entire weekend. And I think it's going to be huge. And one thing also I'd mention is win the faceoffs this weekend. We're doing a lot better at that so far as well. Reading the recap, I believe we were 59.8% in the first 2 games this weekend, which is a major improvement from last year. So keep that up, boys. Let's keep the puck and let's keep scoring and let's get some dubs.
Yep, that's for sure. That's one thing. And Michigan Tech travels really well, and Western also does. So 2 teams. I mean, Western's only, I think, like an hour away, hour and a half. So expect some brown and yellow to be in the crowd, as well as some Michigan Tech faithful. That's what they did really well last year. They had they took over almost the whole center of the bowl. So that was pretty cool to see. I mean, not really from a Ferris standpoint, but to see fans kind of travel with a team was actually pretty cool. So definitely going to be a good one, and one that we're looking forward to. Brandon, let's hop into soccer. Purdue Northwest and Wisconsin-Parkside are on the docket. We talked a little bit with Izzy earlier in the week about that one.
Shout out.
But 2 teams who we thought we were going to score a lot more goals on last time we played them. Didn't really get as much goal scoring, but with a 4-1 performance against Northwood, I think we're going to see a couple more, and our girls are really going to be able to get some goals get some balls in the back of the net.
I think you're absolutely right. I think we're saving them for this road test. We knew we could beat them at home, so we're going to save all the goals for this weekend. I'm feeling so confident that this team's going to score potentially over 7 goals this weekend. But no, I think that there's going to be a lot of good things. I mean, we saw the offense looking so crisp on Monday against Northwood. It was super, super cool.
Pretty clean.
Yeah, it was super efficient, and I think it's really going to be hopefully a continuation of that. I mean, we've done a fantastic job this year at finding looks on the net, and I think that's something that
we've struggled with placing.
Yeah, it has been. Like, I mean, I just did the math. 104 shots we've had in our last 4 home games. 104. And we, with my math, also serves me correctly.
Been on target?
Couldn't tell you. That would probably be somewhere about 12. Yes, I think. Or no, that was would be. Can't think of the shots on target, but it's not as. It's probably not as high as we would want to. Maybe like a 25% mark. But I mean, we're finding opportunities. Just quality, and we saw the quality on Monday. Keeping that rolling with the possession, crisp passes, using triangles, going outside, back inside on crosses, getting all of our talented forwards in the box, the ball at their feet is going to be huge. So I think this is going to be a big weekend. I mean, we saw that we can beat both of these teams and go on this road trip. And like Izzy said, this is a fun road trip for them. So they're excited. They're looking forward to being on the road and playing on a new field, and new opportunities bring new beginnings. And really from this, you can kind of break out of the mold, take what you did on Monday and just keep pushing it forward.
And not to mention, getting a big run on these two teams this weekend will bode well. We got a tough Davenport team and a tough Grand Valley team coming up next week on the road as well. So I think it's going to be a good one. Just got to, like you said, Brandon, get shots on frame and get them well placed, because once we do that, I think we're really going to tire out some goalies. And once that happens, I think we'll have a couple goals squeak through our way. So I think, if we're able to really get on the offensive power, I think we're going to do pretty solid. Just got to be really working on that finesse of the shots.
Yeah, Darien, our defense, have held really strong. And I mean, as well, to mention moving Nikki May up into the attacking mid, or the attacking third of the field. I don't know why I couldn't say that for a second there. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you mean.
Into the attacking part of the field has been a big boost, and we saw that on Monday. And that just goes to show that Coach Henson trusts this young back line. They've done a great job this year of holding teams. I mean, we've only allowed 2 goals in the last 5 games, 4 pretty much in our last, I want to say 4 in our last, 8 or 9 games total. Like that just shows you how
we held Grand Valley to no goals, Walsh to no goals,
yeah,
Ashland.
These are all
Ashland won.
Really good teams. That especially with Ashland, Grand Valley, and Saginaw, as well as Northern. We're playing a lot of these good teams. So I think this is going to be a good weekend for all the way around. Defensively, just control the pace from the back, move it up methodically, get it up to the offense, and get able to score. And you'll be coming back around the lake with 2 wins and 6 points in the GLIAC standings.
It's going to be a good one. Hopefully they can pull these one out.
For sure. Moving on, volleyball is also on the road this week, I believe, going to also Purdue Northwest on Friday. So tonight, as you're listening on the grand upload of this episode at 8 p.m., as well as Grand Valley State on
Allendale.
Saturday at 2 o'clock in Allendale. 2 big games, coming off of 2 big wins as well, moving up from beating Northwood on Tuesday, as we mentioned, would recap. That was a really good game for them. Really just showed, it wasn't like the prettiest game offensively, but we just showed how lethal a lot of our talented attackers are in this sport. I can't
Kaylee's
really
insane.
describe.
We'll just say that too.
The amount of talent that is on this attack front. We have incredible defenders as well in the back row. And, just the amount of pure talent we have on the attack front is just
crazy, too, because
incredible.
At the start of the season, a lot of people were saying, all right, this team's not going to be as good as last year. But right now, we're fighting for the top spot in the GLIAC.
They're talented.
Also, Kaylee, 101 assists, 25 digs, 6 blocks in 1 week.
Yeah.
In 1 week.
3-time.
That's insane.
That's what gets you 3-time Player of the Week.
That really does.
So, yeah, shout out to Kaylee for coming on the show as well. You can find that out.
I put some of those assists in the stat book. So I'm
Joe
part of history
did put
right there.
some assists. Did you sneak a couple?
Okay, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Joe's an honest man. I can tell you the guys that
I'm an honest
100%. So, but no, finishing with a lot of our attack players over 200 hit percentage collectively, and I believe we finished right around that as a team overall. And we still put up some pretty dominant performances. We only lost 1 set 2. In extras, but the rest of them won by at least 10. That just shows you right there. And that was on the road against a pretty solid Northwood team. So really, Coach Tia was talking. We got to keep it rolling one day at a time, working on a lot of those things that you can really attribute. We mentioned the errors. Got to keep the errors down. Keep possessions, and get it to our talent. Defense to offense, the transition. If it's there, this team's lights out, and we've seen that so far over the last couple of years, and that can really just take us all the rest of the way.
For sure. And Purdue Northwest is second to last in the GLIAC, 1-8 overall in conference play, and Grand Valley is sitting pretty at basically middle of the road, 4th place, 6-3 so far. They're 12-5 overall, so that's pretty solid. But just when it comes to conference play, they've just been struggling to get that one done. But we're doing pretty solid. Probably not going to have the same success as we did last season, but still atop the GLIAC right now at an 800 win percentage. Pretty solid, I'd say.
Very solid for sure. Moving on, men's cross country and women's cross country.
Tell us about it, Brandon.
Yes, of course I will. As I wore my cross country shirt here into the studio. Lewis,
track and field, close enough.
It does say track and field. I
wore a sweatshirt that I got from Old Navy into the studio today.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Dog Pound.
The Dog Pound
Ferris State
T-shirt.
hockey T-shirt. Underneath.
I wish you would like.
They do not match. They do not match. I have a maroon and blue sweatshirt and a bright red shirt underneath.
That is true. But the one thing that I don't appreciate about your outfit, you're hiding the chain, man. That thing's sweet.
Okay.
Why aren't you showing
here's the
that
thing.
off?
Little side note. When I show off the chain, I don't want people to feel bad that they don't have this, because it's a sick chain.
Guys, it is fire.
It's a gold chain. And it's got a cross on it. It's like made of nails.
Yeah,
so
it's
like,
cool.
It's a sick chain. But
I love it.
I gotta keep it inside. I gotta keep it tucked because
Close to the heart.
Yeah, I can't let a piece of fabric be separated.
I see. I see what you mean. But
it also is way too. It's like a 20-inch like circumference thing, so it like fits around my neck, not super long. So like when I pop it out, it like, and when I stand up, like just the cross is showing.
Yeah.
So
my silver one I think is like 18, and that one's pretty. I have my racing one is like 15 or 16. It's really
tight.
It's
like a choker. Almost.
It's not like a it's not like a full
it's
choker.
not. Yeah, it's not. A
but
choker, but
I hate when it like.
Bit.
That's the one thing I don't like is like if I'm running,
like
it doesn't bounce. Yeah, I don't like it to bounce.
Do you like the bounce?
I don't like the bounce. That's why I got it smaller.
Some people like the bounce.
Yeah, I don't like it when I'm racing. Like if I'm running, it's one thing, but like racing, I just like it. It kind of. I don't want it to be a distraction. That's the thing. Like it's running for a purpose. It's not.
It'll be like it'll slap your chest and like give you a groove.
Yeah.
Step.
Yeah, it may be. It could be. There's also like a pretty like thin, so it kind of feels like a pin sometimes if it gets all wonked up because it's so short. But no, it works and I like it. So anyway, speaking of that, cross country.
Anyways, keep it rolling with cross country.
Lewis, Division II powerhouse of a meet. There's going to be all sorts of ranked teams there from across the country. There's always teams from Texas and California at this meet. It's a big one. Division II at-large bid points, head-to-head, crucial. And this is one we're really excited for because this course we've we haven't done as well at Lewis over the last couple years, and we really had a great performance this last week at Louisville. So we're looking to carry that over and really looking forward to beating a lot of these teams that we know are capable of beating because we're knocking on the door of a regional top 10 ranking. I know this team is really striving for that goal, and I think we're getting really close right now. If I were to guess to see about where we're at, I'm assuming would be around like 13 or 14 according to the rankings. But we have beaten I think 12 and 11 if I'm not mistaken, and we have beaten Northwood in the past, who's a top 7 team now as well, as Saginaw, who's now at the number 10 spot. So we have a lot of good goals here, and we're really looking forward to seeing how we stack up against these good teams and a lot of the other good teams across the country. I mean, this is going to be a true test of who's the best in Division II. I'm sure we'll see a lot of great teams there. I'm not sure the exact list at the moment, but I know like Tech's going to probably be there, Saginaw will be there, and a couple other good GLIAC teams. So really looking forward to that. I mean, that course, it's definitely... you can run that course fast. It mentally is a little bit of a curveball because, I mean, right out of the chute, you literally start on a practice field and then you go straight up a banked hill, and it's literally like a 1/10 of a mile, just a straight incline. But then after that, it's cornfield flat. It's literally around a cornfield by some roads. So it is capable of being run fast. It's just, do you have the grit to get through that hill and keep the pedal down? And that's really the biggest thing going into this race. But as long as it's not too soft, and that was a problem my freshman year, was it was literally a slosh pit of mud. But it was really nice last year. So hopefully we get that same weather and we can just run it back and really pick up some big points in the standings and hopefully make our moves towards our goals, both sides.
Sick, man. What teams did you say were going to be at this place? Is GV and stuff going to be there?
GV's has taken people there in the past. We haven't seen like the full list of teams that are I believe are signed up yet. So I think that it's going to be super fun. I'm trying to currently look up some of the teams because I know there's some from the GLIAC for sure that go there like every single year.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be ones that are in the top 10. So Tech is there. They're number 14 in the country right now. Lewis, who's hosting it, obviously, is 22. I believe Saginaw Valley it will be there. They're number 10 in the Midwest regional rankings.
Dang.
But I think for as far as ranked teams, Colorado Christian number 9, Alabama Huntsville's number 18, Illinois Springfield's 25, Western Washington 26. There's going to be a bunch of ranked teams there. I did not see Grand Valley on that list, though. So interesting. Unless what they've done in years past is brought the red shirts there to race us. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it should be a really fun meet. And I mean, for the women's as well, going to be a loaded field. And they did really well last week as well.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of these great performances. And especially for them, a lot of the lower classmen have started to get more experience. And they're starting to speed it up. So just keep that thing churning because both teams are super deep. So we are capable of running fast on both sides. But
love to see it.
Anyway, rounding out Ferris State Sports Report, golf and tennis are in action as well. Both the tennis teams will be traveling down to Lawrence Tech, but playing at Detroit Mercy. There's a little screwball there, but you're going to Detroit Mercy, but you're playing against Lawrence Tech. As well as golf, men's golf is heading down to Dearborn for the Motor City Invite to compete there. So, and they're coming off of really good performances in Ohio. So looking forward to seeing that, as well as tennis had some great performances, some regional semifinalists and finalists in the ITAs. So they're looking forward to continuing that run out through winter to get through training and then hammer down a spectacular spring season, Joe.
For sure. It's going to be a great weekend for Ferris State Sports. Can't wait to get into it. And can't wait for Tuesday so we can dive into what happened over the weekend. But that's going to be it for the Ferris State Sports preview. And hopefully we can get to the report on Tuesday and give you guys all the action that went down. We're going to head to the break real quick. And when we come back, some NFL talk and going over the records so far between me and Brandon in our picks.
Nearing the 2-year anniversary of this podcast, Brandon and I have found that Anchor.fm is one of the only things that have been able to keep us up and going here in the studio. Anchor is a great way to distribute your podcast as well as edit and basically make sure that everything's running smoothly. If you want to start your own podcast, go on over to Anchor.fm. You can learn all the ins and outs of making your own podcast, distributing content, all that good stuff. That's what we use. That's what we recommend. Anchor.fm. Give it a shot.
Here we go, week 5 predictions. Not going to lie, Joe got me last week, and it got me frazzled.
That was huge. Way to come back from that.
Yeah,
one,
I believe the final was it
Hold up, I got sticky fingers.
8 to 9. I want to say 9 to 8. You got me.
It was 10 to. I got 10 out of 16. You got 9 out of 16.
10 to 9. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes me angry, y'all. Let's go.
Yeah,
First
you know how
game,
it is.
Thursday night, which will be as of yesterday, but you can timestamp this, 2:07 p.m., 10/6/2022, August 6th. We made these picks.
Today.
Plus, probably one of us is going to pick the wrong teams anyway.
Most likely.
So why would we pick the wrong team? And yes, Taco Bell does sound good. But anyway, Broncos going to be hosting the Indianapolis Colts, Joe. Are you going to take the upset in this one?
I'm taking the Colts here.
Okay.
I think Pittman's going to get back on track with Matt Ryan. He's going to have another good game. It's going to go back to like week 1 where he got a lot of targets. It's going to be good. The Broncos defense is pretty solid, but they really haven't played anybody that's like insanely good at offense. Yeah, I mean, the Raiders scored 30 on them, and that's a good offense. 49ers were kind of in shambles the week before with kind of the carryover or switching, who's in control with Trey Lance and Garoppolo, and they only got 16 on the Texans and held them to 9, and the Texans really have nobody. Who are they going to rely on? Davis Mills to bring them into 20 points? No shot. So I think Colts are probably going to win this one 25-14.
Okay, there you go. I'll play contrarian here. I like Denver in this game. I know they just lost Javonte Williams, and it's probably going to be Melvin Gordon. But the Colts defense really hasn't shown up as much as we expected so far this year. The Colts got him in the last matchup in 19, but I think we're going to see a motivated Denver team in this game, and I think we're going to see a low-scoring game. Like I would not imagine over 45 points between the two teams. So I think right now Denver's found a way to win those games, and as much as it's kind of weird to think they're going that this game is probably going to be like that, I mean, it's just natural to see them as the winner in this game. So, and it is at Mile High, so Matt Ryan might throw the footballs a little bit through that air, just a little bit too errant in my taste. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here, but I'm going to say this is going to be a close game. I'm going to say this one's going to be, I'm going to say a final 20-17, Joe. I'm going to take the Broncos in this one to play contrarian and hopefully get one up on you.
Should we start wwriting the scores?
We should, yeah, just in case. And so we don't have to
be like the tiebreaker kind of.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
27
I said 20-17.
You said 20-17.
Yep, and then you said.
I said 20. I'm gonna change it. 25-14 is what I don't know if that's the same one I said, but I know.
25-14. Okay, 25-14. There you go. London game. Green Bay.
It's London, innit?
The Giants. Yeah.
Giants
London
versus Packers.
Playing some football. Yeah.
I got Packers in this
the
one.
weird kind of football at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So
They're not really playing no football now, are they?
yeah, no football. Ted Lasso, by the way.
Maybe. Who knows?
Fantastic.
You think Jason Sudeikis will show up for this game?
Maybe. We'll see.
He's at Tottenham, so.
It's at Tottenham. He's had bad memories against Tottenham. No, he beat Tottenham actually. No, it was
yeah, but I mean the skit when he first started was like
that
he
was
took
at
over
Tottenham.
for
Yes,
Tottenham Hotspur.
Correct. So
that's one thing. Who you got, Brandon?
Regardless what soil this is being played on, I'm going with Green Bay in this one.
Yeah.
I think the Giants are I think they're very improved. Defensively, they're going to have to rely on Saquon Barkley, and I think that this Green Bay front is going to show up a little bit. So I'm going to take the Packers in this one. I think the spread's set at, 8 right now in favor of Green Bay. I'm going to say it's a little lengthy of that. We haven't seen how the Giants have played at England since that first, game that they actually did the London series. The Giants played there. I remember seeing a highlight of Eli Manning scoring in that game on a rushing touchdown, which is rare enough as it is. I think Aaron Rodgers and that team's going to control the tempo. I think A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones are going to have a monster day on the ground. And I think the Giants are going to be relying on Saquon Barkley a little too much. So I'm going to go Green Bay. I'm going to go 28 to, did I say 10? So 27-17, if I wanted to say that. So there you go.
I'm conflicted here, Brandon. I'll tell you. I'm
are.
not going to lie, because Green Bay has consistently given up, other than against, I think it was the Buccaneers, in their three games against the Vikings, Bears, and the Patriots. They've given up at least 130 yards rushing. Right, and there's not a whole lot of guys, unless it's the Vikings. They don't really have the greatest rushers, right? With Saquon, they're gonna really push him hard, and that's gonna be their main source of offense. And you got Danny Dimes too, so I mean, he's basically the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Stop right there.
I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But anyways, I'm still gonna go to the Packers, but I would say expect Saquon to get probably 150 yards this game.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be the main source of offense, probably 150 to 175. I would say at least 2 touchdowns, I'm guessing, and he'll probably do some damage with receiving as well. But Packers are going to win this just because it's, Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be in a spot where it's going to be London, brand new spot. There's really no home field advantage, and I think Green Bay is going to win this one. We'll say 20 to 14.
Okay, low-scoring game there. I do think Barkley will probably still get at least 80 on the ground, but as far as that, I think it's going to take him 25,
how much was
30 to go there. So I said 27-17. So I'm going to go by 10. Next game, 1 o'clock slate begins. The Bills at the Steelers. Quickly, I'll make this one a Jiffy Joe. Pittsburgh still needs to figure out some stuff offensively.
You don't need to beat around the bush here.
No, the Bills are going to roll this one. I'm going to take the Bills in this one. I'm going to take a little bit of a high-scoring game. I'm going to say that they win this one at 31 to. I'm going to say, should I say 17 again? Nah, I'm not going to do it. 35-21. There you go. Buffalo wins
for
this
the
game.
hat trick of 17.
Yeah.
No. There's really no. I mean, Pittsburgh, ever since Watt went down, they've kind of struggled a little bit ever since week 1. And Buffalo's just been consistently putting up numbers that are just ridiculous. They have not scored less than 20, other than the Dolphins. But, when they're hot, when they're playing well, they're going to be solid. And they're at Buffalo. So it's going to be probably 35-14.
There you go. Next game, Chargers at Cleveland. This is an intriguing game across the board over at the Dog Pound, the second best Dog Pound in the country, I should mention. So I think this is going to be a fun game. I think the Browns are going to show a little bit of. I think this could be a lot closer than people think it is. Right now, I think that this game might go in the opposite tempo that the Chargers probably want. But now, what I saw from Austin Eckler last week in the passing game gives me a lot of promise, and this Browns defense is very good, but they're still banged up. I mean, no Jadeveon Clowney, no Myles Garrett as of yet.
The pass rush is not going to be the same.
Assuming that continues, I think that the Chargers are going to be a little too much to handle in the passing game. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. I'm going to take them 27-10. 27-23. There you go.
Respect.
Chargers over the Browns.
27-23 is what you said. I'm probably going to do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The exact same thing?
No, I'll
That's
do a
very
little
original.
bit different of a score. It's probably, I would say it's going to be low scoring. Actually.
Okay.
Both defenses are going to show up. I'll say 14-17.
Okay. You do like low scoring, so I give you that. Next game, Texans traveling to Jacksonville. Houston coming in at 0-3-1. Jacksonville 2-2 on the season, Joe. Is this the time that the Houston Texans find the win column?
I don't know, man. You think Lovie Smith's going to do it? Yeah, probably not. I'm guessing. No.
Okay.
Texans, I feel like, sorry, I'm trying to find the thing. Texans are not super great. Jacksonville's defense is kind of stepping up. They're playing pretty solid. Houston as well just has not been putting up a lot of great numbers so far. I mean 20. Never mind. I stand corrected. Not too bad. But I think when you get to this point, Trevor Lawrence is finally starting to find his stride. Etienne is doing pretty well. Their defense is starting to step it up. So I think they're going to hold Texans to probably less than 14. I'd say it's going to be like a 21-10 win.
Okay. I'm going bold. Give me Lovie Smith and give me the Texans in this one. I got to play contrarian. They played very well in that second half of the Chargers game. They started figuring something out. Chicago, barely they got out a win there. And then really they played well at Denver in that second week game. They just couldn't move the ball offensively later in that game. And I mean, against the Colts, they surprised everyone. So I think they're due for this game. Jacksonville did not play well last week against the Eagles. And I think right now, when I look at a lot of these games, this is a game that Houston should win. And I think they know they should win. And Dameon Pierce has been awesome. And Jacksonville needs to be able to stop the run. And they still have some irking concerns. So I'm going to take the Houston Texans in this one. I'm going to take them in a nail-biter. I'm going to take it at a 17-14 game. I'm going to go low-scoring classic Joe here.
Respect.
We'll see, though. I could see this being a lot different, though. Anyway, next game on deck. Oh, boy, Joe. This is an absolute doozy. I'm going to let you go first in this one, my friend. You ready? Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Chicago at Minnesota.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Ooh. This one's something.
I'll start it off.
2-2 Bears versus 3-1 Vikes.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go Vikes.
I'm also going to go Vikes. I don't trust Chicago's defense to be very, I want to say overpowering is the adjective that comes to mind, because that's what they got to do in order to stop this Vikings offense, because they're not going to do it.
I'll go with my alma mater high school mascot, the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Gotta stay with what you're true to.
Nice.
I'll say they're going to win. Dalvin Cook's probably going to have a good day. I mean, you're not really going to get much with the offense from running or from passing with the Bears. Justin Fields barely ever throws it. Their rushing is going to be like the one thing that's going to keep them in it. And, Khalil Herbert, I don't think is going to be able to do super hot. I mean, we saw against the, especially when Lions played the Vikings, our defense, I'm all over the place right now. I can't even talk. When Lions played the Vikings, our rushing was not super high. It was good, but it wasn't as good as it could have been.
Correct.
So I think they're going to probably step that up to keep them a little bit lower with what the Bears want to do on the ground. So I'm going to go Vikings are going to win this one 24-17.
Ooh, that's a good score. I was actually thinking about somewhere in there. I'll change mine slightly to 23-16 to play contrarian, but I think this is
for the 1-off.
Yeah, I know, right? That was literally the score I was thinking in my head as you said that. I was like, crap. But anyway, sure, we'll go with that one. But I think this is a big game for the Vikings as far as their non-primary receivers. There's going to be a lot of attention against Jefferson and Thielen. I think this could be a good KJ Osborne game, especially over the middle of the field, as well as Irv Smith. It could be breakout games for them, because I see the Bears bringing a little bit of heavy pressure up front to try to stall the passing game and the running game with Dalvin Cook. I think that Dalvin Cook will still have a good day, and I think over the middle of the field might do them a little bit of issues. But, I mean, we saw them spread it out. We saw him get spread out a little bit against the Giants, too, on the outside. So it could be interesting. So I'm going to take the Vikes, though, as well, and 23-16 score in that one, just to make Joe annoyed. I'm just kidding. Anyway, next game, who we're picking. The Lions are going to beat the Patriots, and here's why.
Give us the Kool-Aid, man.
1-3, we know. We should be 3-1, we know. New England's offense don't look good.
No, they don't.
They look awful. Man, I really trust our defense to get back on track. Please don't let me astray, Aaron Glenn. Please, for the love of what's good, don't lead me astray. Number 1 offense in the league, number 32 defense in the league. The last time that was done was the year 2000, Joe. Los Angeles Rams were the team that did that, ironically, as that's where we got half our players from. But it's going to be a fun game. Last time was not pretty. This is a reunion against Patricia. I think we end this. We really put them in the garbage can, drop the kerosene, and light the fire, and
What's
move
score
on.
gonna be?
So I'm going to take score. I don't think it's going to be as high as we've just been seeing, though. I'm going to say 28-20. I think it's going to be a little bit lower, because at New England, at MetLife, or not MetLife, at Gillette, excuse me. I'm thinking New York and New England now. But at Gillette, they're going to slow the game down. They're trying to give Bailey Zappi some time here, but no. Let's just go to
Hutchinson
Gillette.
is going to keep Zappi on the floor, is what's going to happen. Hutchinson's going to have a breakout game. He's going to go crazy. Rodrigo's going to hold it down. They're going to hold him to 18 points. It's an odd score, but they're going to get 18. And Lions are going to run it up to 30, keep up the pattern. The pattern. All right? I don't know if St. Brown's going to be back. Jamal Williams is going to run all over the place. He's going to do good. Is Chark back? Do you know?
I hope so.
Hopefully, because I would love to see that happen.
They're
But if
still on
not,
the injury
we
report.
got Hawkinson, the incredible Hawk. He's going to pop off for another big fantasy week. Jared Goff's going to keep on rolling. Aiden Hutchinson's going to get 2 sacks this game. Rodrigo's probably going to get a sack. He's going to hold it down. Like I said, going to kill it. 30-18 Lions. Patricia is going to be crying in the club after.
I hope so. Anyway, moving on. Saints hosting Seattle, Joe. Saints haven't started this year that well, but I think they will win this one, and here's why. I think we're hearing reports that Jameis might be back this week. He's apparently progressing very well from the injury report. Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks played very well last week, but we know as Lions fans that our defense allowed them to.
Yeah, it was really just our defense that gave them that shot.
So I think this might be a game where Seattle struggles in the secondary. Trying to get through the secondary of the Saints. I think they might they're going to be held to no limit at big plays. The Saints team's going to bring a lot of heavy tonnage up front. They're going to stuff you in the run, and they're going to try to dare you to go up against Marshawn Lattimore and that crew in the secondary. So I think that they're going to try a couple too many big plays. Geno might get rattled, and I think the Saints will win at the Superdome, even if they might not have potentially Alvin Kamara in this game, because we've seen over the last couple weeks that they are still capable of firing points up on the board with Jarvis Landry. Hopefully Michael Thomas is back, and especially with Chris Olave having a good, so far, rookie season.
And we've seen the Seahawks really do well against some bad defenses like the Falcons, and when they play good defenses like the Seahawks, or not Seahawks, the 49ers, they're held to a lot less points. I mean, they only scored 7 against them. So Saints are kind of in the middle of the road between the best offense and the worst defense. They're kind of in between. So expect Seahawks to score a little bit less. I don't think Geno's going to be a guy that can really be a takeover. It's just he played a very bad Lions defense last week, and that was just the unfortunate part of it. But I'm going to say Saints are going to win this one. We'll say 17 to 10.
Okay. Oh, I didn't pick a score, did I? Shoot. 24-21. I think Will Lutz wins this game. I think he gets his revenge this week. He's a good kicker, and he deserves the praise of winning a football
Saints,
game.
right?
So, yes, I did choose the Saints.
Double
doink. Oh, no, that's the Bears. That's not them. Anyway, Dolphins traveling to the Jets. Fun game for Tyreek Hill. Is reportedly these were his 2 choices of free agency, and he chose Miami. Why? No income taxes. That's why.
Yeah, that is true.
Get your money, man.
Get your money up, not your funny up.
Straight cash, homie. But, yeah, I think the Dolphins will win this game. The Jets did play well last week. I will give them credit. They did really, really well against Pittsburgh to get the job done. No Tua in this game. I still think no problem, Joe. I think it's a definite game that if you want to take the upset, I'm not gonna question you. I think the Jets are a good team, but I think really the defense of Miami, Xavier Howard, I think that secondary is going to cause fits, especially with Byron Murphy there as well on the other side, to neutralize guys like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. This might be a good Corey Davis game for you. if you have him in fantasy, might be worth a stream play, especially at home. He's played better at home statistically so far this season. So I think that might be an interesting game, but I think the Dolphins squeak this one out to move in 4-1, and I think that this game will end in a score of 27-21. There you go.
All right. Sounds pretty good.
Okay.
I'm going to just do the same thing.
No, that's cheating. I thought you were actually going to pick the Jets.
No.
No. Okay. I'm
I
surprised.
think because here's the thing.
Now, should I pick the Jets?
No, Tyreek is just going to zoom
Sauce
around.
him up.
That's the thing. But, I mean, also.
Show them what they're
it's
missing.
Teddy Bridgewater. So that's the one thing that I'm a little bit.
Teddy Bridgewater can still win games, though.
Well, I don't know.
Do you trust Teddy Bridgewater or Zach Wilson? That's the true question.
Sure, Zach Wilson got that dog in him, though.
No. He's about as good as Daniel Jones.
So the best quarterback in the league? Is that what you're saying?
No. You know what I'm saying.
No, okay, so.
Stop changing the narrative of Daniel Jones.
What should I choose? I don't know. I know I'm stalling here, but I really don't know what to do. Teddy Bridgewater did do well with the Saints last year, 5-0 and stuff like that. I'm going to go with, you know what? Whatever. Jets.
There you
Jets
go.
are going to win this game. Zach Wilson's going to come in hot, and he's going to play really well. They beat the Steelers last week, and the Steelers have, I mean, not as good a defense as the Dolphins because you got Van Noy and stuff like that, but I think they would be doing pretty solid as long as Zach Wilson just doesn't throw interceptions. He should be fine.
There you go.
Which is gonna be a tough task, but I think it'll be all right. And
Sweet.
I don't think Teddy Bridgewater's gonna be able to reel in Tyreek and Waddle and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a close one. I think it's gonna be another 24-20 performance from the Jets.
Good pick. Okay, there we go. Next game, Atlanta at Tampa. We'll keep this fantasy moving along. Tom Brady, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady, and thank you, Travis Hicks, for grilling that into my brain. It's literally all I think about when I see his name now. I think they're going to win this one. They did get their offensive pieces back with Godwin, Julio Jones, and they saw some good things. They just ran into an explosive, on-fire Kansas City Chiefs offense. I think that'll change. The defense is going to lock down at Raymond James or wherever they're playing, basically, based on how that situation can be with the Hurricane. I'm assuming that they're going to stay at home. Falcons need a little more firepower. They need to utilize Kyle Pitts. We talked about on the Ferris Fantasy Show. You can check that out as well. You can find that link in our link tree as well for me, Joe, and Brody talking fantasy this week. You can get all that analysis and more. But Buccaneers roll in this one 35-24. No, 21. No, 24. I already said that one. 35-24. Put it on paper. Buccaneers win this one.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Falcons are just not super great, especially with, I mean, Mariota and stuff are not, I don't think are going to really bring it up too well. I mean, he only had 140 yards, 19 attempts, and he had an interception last week, and that was against the Browns defense, and I think that you'll see a little bit better performance from the Buccaneers defense, and as well as I think the divorce proceedings are at a halt, so I think that's why Brady's playing a little bit better. It's just that they've, like you said, played against a really good Kansas City team last year. Imagine Tom, man. You come back for another year of football, and then you guys don't even make the playoffs, and you put your marriage at risk. Hate to see it. But I think he's going to win against the Falcons, and maybe he'll be in a better mood for next week. It's going to be not as high scoring, I don't think. It's going to be like it'll probably be like a 27-17.
Okay, there you go. Tennessee at Washington. I'll keep this one short. Washington turns the football over too much, and their defense hasn't made up for it. Titans played much better last week. I expect a big game from Derrick Henry, and I think that the Titans will win this game 27-24 over the Commanders. The Commanders really just need some injury help. So until that happens, I see this game being a lot like it was in 2018, and I think this is going to be Derrick Henry's show.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's going to run all over the place and stiff-arm people right in the ground. Have face mask full of grass, most likely. So Tennessee's going to roll into Washington. Henry's going to have a big performance. He's going to have 3 touchdowns. It's going to be 35-20.
Ooh, big one. I like it. Anyway, San Fran, Carolina, Joe. This one's going to be in Carolina, the home of Baker Mayfield. Not actually, but theoretically for his home team. Does that mean you're going to take that man that might wake up dangerous for this game?
So what game are we on? I was writing down the scores.
Panthers, 49ers.
Panthers, 49ers. He's going to wake up feeling mediocre, because San Francisco is going to probably walk into Carolina and win this one. Especially with Garoppolo back, they've finally been able to kind of get that under the reins, and they're looking like the old 49ers kind of that went to that Super Bowl a few years ago and that, have been a powerhouse. San Francisco does have an incredible defense, and we know what always happens with Baker Mayfield when he has to play good defenses, and that's always just throwing picks and all over the place. Threw 2 interceptions against the Cardinals last week. Only had a TD and about 200 yards on 22 attempts, and he had to give it off to Christian McCaffrey. If he gives it off to Christian, then I think they'll probably have a little bit more. I know we talked about that. I think it was Tuesday or something like that. I can't remember, but it's Fantasy Podcast is where we talked about it. If we just give it to Christian, they're going to have a lot more success. But I think we're going to see a Panthers loss here. San Francisco's going to win this one 28-7.
Yeah, this is an interesting game, especially with how the Arizona game went last week. I think this has got to be one of the games where it's up to Matt Rule, really, if he wants to win this game. I mean, right now, you look at what Arizona put up against Carolina. You saw a lot of different scheme that you're probably going to see differently in this game. But I think that there's one thing that Arizona did really well last week, and that was overall, I would say, run the football. I mean, they weren't as effective in the yards category, but they were getting chunks per yards. They were getting almost 4 yards a carry, so I see Jeff Wilson having a big game in this one. And Carolina just needs to find some sort of sync, and they got to be more consistent scoring team. Until they do that, I think they're going to end this week 1-4. San Fran on the road. I think this could be an upset, though. I'm going to say 30-27. There you go. Yeah, weird score, but I like it. Anyway, Philadelphia at Arizona. This is where the Eagles fall. Arizona with the upset in this game, I'll call it right now. The Eagles are a good team. They'll probably still be ranked number 1 or up there with the Bills after this week. They have an explosive offense, a very formidable defense. I think this is just the one that it finally falls. That's really the only reason I'm picking them in this game, because I think Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury have found an offensive scheme that will spread the defenses out, and I think give them the best success. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals 38-35 over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Respect. I don't know. Kyler's been prone to throw picks here and there. He had one against the Panthers last week. Eagles defense has just been killing it. Darius Slay's been basically a ball magnet for getting interceptions. I don't think the defense is going to be as big of a factor. I think the offenses are going to go crazy. It's going to be a shootout. We'll go 35-40 Eagles.
Okay, there you go.
Did you choose the Cardinals?
I chose the Cardinals, yes. We got to get some differentiating picks here, Joe.
We're playing close to the chest in the same here.
We are playing pretty close to the chest here. The last 3 games, Dallas at the Rams. The Rams don't look very good, and Dallas looks pretty solid, which is why I'm going to pick the Rams, only logically. No, and this is why. Right now, we've seen good defense from Dallas. Micah Parsons has been very good. The only problems is the Rams running the football has been something that they have done consistently pretty solid. They need to be able to throw the football, and I think being back at home might be just the trick for them. And obviously I know last week with San Fran coming to town and beating them, but remember, this is San Fran. They have bad juju with that team. I think this game will end up to be a little bit more high scoring than people realize. So I'm going to take the Rams. I think Matt Stafford and company get back on track. That defense need to show up in a big way. So I think that they're going to get some turnovers on Cooper Rush and Zeke Elliott. Final score 31-24. Yeah, I haven't picked that one yet, I don't think, have I? No, yeah, go ahead.
Cooper Kupp, more like Cooper Rush. Give me Dallas here. And I'll tell you why.
You said what?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
All right, Cooper Rush is going to have a big game. All right, he threw for 223 and 2 TDs against Washington. And that's Washington. You can say, oh, Washington's washed. Yeah, you're kind of right. Not gonna lie.
I was about to
You're
say.
not going to lie. I'm not going to compare. No shot. But Dallas' defense kind of been playing pretty well. Trayvon Diggs has been able to mess up a lot of passes. He's going to be on Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to shut him down a little bit because Cooper Kupp, this year, Matthew Stafford has been targeting him a lot more, which is surprising because last year I don't think he got more than, 10 receptions a game? So
yeah.
that was crazy, but he's going to hold him to not a lot. Parsons had 4 tackles last week. You're going to see a lot more than that. Dallas is going to win 25. They're going to have 2 25-point performances in a row, 25-17 Dallas.
All right, final 2 picks, speed round here before the rain comes down and dumps on us. Cincinnati at Baltimore. I think this is the one that we finally get a little bit interesting. I think I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I think Lamar's going to have a big game at home. I think this is when they finally break out of their second half scoring slump. I think they revenge their 2021 loss to Joe Burrow and company. So, and I think Joe Burrow is still a little banged up from those hits the first couple of weeks as well. So I'm going to take the Ravens. J.K. Dobbins has a big game in this one, and the secondary forces turnovers. I'm going to go Ravens in this one, 34-28 Ravens. There you go.
All right, I'm probably gonna go not Bengals, Ravens as well. Mainly because Bengals last week against the Dolphins, they would be 1-3 if it wasn't for basically murdering Tua Tagovailoa in his concussive statement or in his state. So yeah, he threw up some really weird gang signs when he was down on the ground. So that was tough for him. I'm gonna go Ravens as well. I think it's gonna be a lot more. I think it's gonna be 38-21.
Okay, there you go. Final game: Chiefs against the Raiders. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick the Chiefs so the Raiders win and make this interesting. It's that simple. I'm going to be the perfect repellent of this Raiders team for this year. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs, so likely they win this game. Don't be surprised. You can bet against this pick if you want to. Chiefs offense look legit. The Raiders defense has definitely been better this year. Their offense still needs to be able to score in high quantity. They need to make sure that they finish in scoring position on the other side and on the other opponent field, so they can't settle for field goals. You got to get 7 over 3. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one, 42-35 in this high-scoring affair on Monday Night Football.
Well, I'm picking the Chiefs, but for a whole different reason. Chiefs got a cool football field this week. They did like a little bit of change up for their 50th anniversary at Arrowhead, and that's the sole reason why I'm picking them. So it's going to be 35-30.
So there you go. There's our picks. We'll let you know next week when I beat Joe next week. So it'll be 3-2. No, I'm just kidding. We'll see. So it'll be interesting. But make sure you subscribe so you can get the great shows on deck over the next couple months. They're going to be great. We thank you all for subscribing. Make sure you get on all the podcast platforms, on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, all the shebang, as well as Instagram and Twitter to find out about our guests and as well as stuff all of our show notifications. So, big things coming, Joe.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.